All right, we are live. See, give some time to some people to join here. And hey, Jeffrey. She's sleeping now. She was complaining of a headache at dinner and then a stomach ache, and she wasn't feeling so good. So um, yeah, she laid down early, and she's kind of restless for a little while. So I could be home with a sick child in the morning, but hopefully she'll be feeling better. She loves school, so I know she hates missing it. Oh, hey, Larry. Central New York. Oh, cool. Is it cold out there too? I assume it is. It was this morning about, I think it was like negative 14. It was really cold. I spent pretty much my whole weekend here in the shop rather than doing anything outside. Um, Initially, I wanted to try to do something outside, but I figured it was just easier if I just gave up on the idea, and rather than trying to go out and struggle with everything and being in the freezing cold and miserable, I figured, I'd rather be inside and doing something else that's fun and trying to stay warm. Because even in the shop here, it's only um, usually on average like 50 to 55 degrees, so it's not super warm in here, but it's far better than negative 14, that's for sure. And even now, I think it's actually supposed to get warmer tomorrow. I think we're supposed to be closer to 25 or 30 degrees. Have you got a lot of snow out there in central New York? We got hit with a storm that gave us about 16 inches all in one day. The forecast high temps on one weather report spell out 8-6. Oh, that's awesome. I almost wonder if they did that on purpose. I had a coworker once. The company I worked for, and he left and went to work for the New York City, or he did some contract work for the New York City transit system, and they have these displays down in the subway system apparently, and this was years ago, and he's a Red Sox fan, so he put up on all the displays. He did all their IT stuff. He put "Go Red Sox" or something like that. He had to take that down pretty quick. Oh wow! Hey, Snowman! Happy New Year! How you doing? It's good to see you, Chris. Awesome. Glad to see you. You were able to make it. Hey, yeah, Andy. I am. I'm a little chilly. I think I've been potentially could be coming down with something myself because I'm not usually real cold in 55 degrees. Um, I'm sitting out here, the garage door's over there, and I'm sitting in between two windows, and it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 0 degrees out. I haven't even looked at the temperatures. I haven't even been outside all day because I wanted nothing to do with it today. I just wanted to have fun in the shop and not think about anything. It's actually 10 degrees out. That's actually pretty warm. Um, yeah, Andy, I'm glad to have you here, dude. That shop you got there looks pretty cool. Um, oh, hey, Prats. Hard to find something productive to do. Yeah, it really is in this weather. I like to spend most of my time outside. Um, so it's hard to be cooped up inside, but I was just telling somebody else earlier today that it's almost like a blessing in disguise because there's a lot of stuff in here I really wanted to do and just haven't taken the time to do it. And I had fun today. Mike's in the hood. The hood's helping me stay warm. Make sure we're smashing the thumbs up button. Chime in the comments. Hey, thanks, Snowman. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. If if you guys haven't hit the like button, that'd be definitely a big help. It definitely does um, add interaction to the videos and the channel, so that definitely helps out. Um, Disabled homes. I'm trying to stay with you, but sorry about that. Disabled. Yeah, yeah. Our internet's. Hopefully the live feed looks okay and everything sounds all right. I'm out here in the shop and the wireless access points. I don't know, probably 30 feet away, but it's through a couple of walls. So hopefully it's looking good. Yeah, it's a little shop, but I kind of been learning from working in here today. I've been putting off doing anything in here just because it's been a major clutter. And I just, took the time and said, you know what? I'm just going to do something anyway, regardless of, how messy it is in here. And I've been working around everything. And it was a little tight, but it was a lot more fun than cleaning. Oh, wow. Scroll up here. Raining in the northwest. Oh, yeah, I don't like rain. Definitely don't like rain. I actually don't. I'd rather have snow because at least snow, it's not landing on you and getting you all soaking wet. You can brush it off and push it out of the way. Hey, Mario. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You work in the land clearing industry and some environmental work. Yeah, what's everybody else doing? Snowman says he's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he's working in the land clearing industry, doing some environmental work. Mario is from Brazil. Thanks for joining, Mario. Nice. Rocking around the world. Super Dave Woodworks. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah. I'm guessing you're in somewhere down south. Um, oh, cool. Thanks, Snowman. Sound quality, no problems. Awesome. Cool. Um, Buffering issues on your end. Oh, shoot. Buffering here. Huh, a couple of people said it's buffering, so hopefully it's okay. It says it's good and my wireless is good, so hopefully that's all true. Um, oh, hey, Moments in Motion, Paula, darling. How are you? I'm in the shop. It's not freezing. It's like 55 degrees in here, so it's pretty comfortable compared to the what was it? I don't know if you can see that. It's 10 degrees outside here. No, I guess you can't. The screen's all light. But yeah, it's 10 degrees out here, but it's a lot warmer where I am. 35 in Georgia. That's cold for down there, I would think. White rain. Yeah. Yep. At least the white rain is lately it's been just fluffy and somewhat dry and freezing, so that's not a bad thing. Yeah, cleaning does suck. Lately I've been terrible at cleaning up after myself. It wasn't always that way, but for whatever reason the last few years, I think it's just the amount of work that I've had to do on this house. I've kind of gotten into some bad habits because for a while I was in a really big rush. We bought the house, we found it, we had a lot of mold in it, so I was in a big rush to make it livable, and so most of the time I didn't clean up after myself, and that went on for a year or two. So I think I kind of brought myself my own bad habits, but it kind of came with everything else that I was dealing with at the time. Liz, no, I don't have Discord, but I may get that. Try that out sometime. Trying to get the kids to bed. Yeah, I was just doing the same thing. I got the last one down and snoring. The great state of Texas. Oh, cool. I've been to Texas once. It was a lot. It was nice there. I forget where I was. Somewhere near Houston, I think. But it was for work. How you keeping your shop warm? The shop is we actually have some baseboard heater over in this corner. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see it from there, but it's still kind of a mess in here. Yeah, I guess you can. So down on the floor, you can see in the corner behind the ladder there, we get some baseboard heat. And that is propane forced hot water. This room was a family room when we first bought the house, but because of the renovations and what we had to do to the house, it got stripped down to concrete floors and we ripped out most of the walls. And so I just kind of put it back to bare minimum so it was insulated, and just used it for a shop now since then because the time and cost. There wasn't really a huge need to have this room since we do have a living room and kitchen already. So we have plenty of room in the rest of the house. The one thing I need to do, and I will do probably this year, is I need to build a bedroom for my teenage son because he's sharing a room right now with his 8-year-old brother, and I think it just would be good for him to have his own space. Let's see, try to get caught up here on the comments. All you see is white, yeah. If it was light out, you'd see out, that's all you'd see out this window right here. The snows are all right up to the window. Little chilly, yeah, moments. 2 degrees today in Maryland. Yep, oh cool. Yeah, I gotta get caught up on the editing stuff. I have just about finished up this project here, which actually the laptop is sitting on top of. Almost done with it. I'm hoping to have it complete with any luck tomorrow if I get some spare time to finish it up. It's not much left to do. But yeah, editing's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I enjoy it if I have enough spare time. Other times it's kind of one of those like necessary evils that, you know, you do all your recording and stuff and have fun getting the videos done, and then you got to clean it up so you can upload it. But let's see. Heat in the garage with the hot air from Washington, D.C. Yeah. Finally got the above freezing today in Alabama. Yeah, wow. Man. Yeah. The company I work for is based out of Alabama. I've heard it's been cold down there. And, I hear it can be tough on the agriculture. Originally from Houston. Oh, wow. That's a lot warmer than here, that's for sure. I keep saying I want to go down south, but I don't know. You know, maybe someday. At the same time, I always think, you know, are you trading off snow for something else that could be worse? So, you know, staying in somewhere that you're familiar with sometimes is nice too. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Mike Anderson from Florida. Is it warm down there? I know the temperatures down south lately have been really unusual, at least from what I've seen anyway, from watching the weather. Worked in the greenhouse, 72. Oh, nice. Is it just solar, or do you use other sources of heat? Greenhouse is cheating. I should build a greenhouse outside so I can go outside and work and just. It would be warmer if it was from Washington. 18 degrees here now. It's supposed to be in 30s tomorrow. Yeah, it's 10 degrees here now. It's supposed to be about 30 degrees here anyway tomorrow. And then I think later in the week we might even get into the 40s. So that's when I got to start watching the roof, because right now all the snow on the roof isn't even really melting because it's so cold. It's cold enough where even any tiny bit of heat that's going to the attic that could possibly melt anything isn't even having an effect due to the ventilation and all that. So, but once the temperatures go up a little bit and you start getting 25, 30 degrees, there's a little bit of a risk of ice dam. So I just have to keep an eye on it. But it's actually been doing pretty well. I've been keeping up on it. That's one of the things I hate the most about winter is raking the roof. I don't mind shoveling or plowing and that sort of thing, but no heat but the sun today. Yeah, it's amazing the heat that you can get from the sun. I was just watching another channel. I'll have to look up the name of it, but he has a solar kiln, and I think he said it was below zero out. And then when he looked at the temperature of his solar kiln, it was like in the 60s, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm not getting any projects done outside in the cold, but I've got one project here, just about done. I showed it in um, the video that I put up just before the live stream, and it's almost done. Um, I did some mitered spline joints, and it was a little different than what I'd normally seen on any sort of spline joint, but it was fun. It's definitely going to be a solid piece, and um, I built it because it was something I really felt like I needed, or was definitely going to help me make things a bit easier, more comfortable. Internet's unstable. I'm gonna watch your Howard Freight chisels. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. Disabled homestead. Yeah, cool. Check out the video, and when I'm done with this one, maybe I'll post it up afterwards. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, no ice dams now. The temperature's so cold. Actually started to make me think about grabbing that ice fishing gear and giving it a shot, taking the kids out. I've never been ice fishing, so I thought it'd be a cool time to try it out since the temperatures are so cold. I don't have to worry about how thin or thick the ice is, because I'm sure you could probably drive a truck on it right now. WT forecast app says 18 degrees. Yeah, the wind, I don't know if it's been really windy down there, but with the wind we've had here, you step out and it's minus 10 degrees out, and it feels like it's minus 20. Snow in my place is going to be gone after the heat wave coming this week. Oh, yeah. You're looking for that snow for the snowmobile. Um, yeah, my neighbor's got a snowmobile for sale. I've been itching to go look at it, but I gotta kind of think about the budget thing. And there's definitely plenty of snow. Although I don't know, maybe too much. I've only been snowmobiling once, and it was probably like 10 years ago. But I remember it was fun, and it would probably be handy to have around the property too for pulling stuff out of the woods and moving stuff around. Oh, sorry, the baby's fussing. Well, take care. I'll see you. I'll see you on the next one of yours or mine. I hope the family's doing well. Splines are cool on 45 degrees on mitered corners. Yeah, that's what I did here. They're actually thick. They're pretty thick. They're like 5/8, I believe, 5/8 or 3/4, somewhere around there, thickness. So they're thick. They're not small, but they're it's definitely going to make this thing strong. The overall piece is made of cedar that was reclaimed from cedar decking, and then I made this out of it, and then I used the oak splines, 3 in each side, to just reinforce the strength of it to keep it from racking and all that. Oh, hey, Snowman. Have a good night. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Hey, Mr. McCoy, how are you? Yeah, Jeffrey. My kids are, one of them's kind of out of the cuddle stage, but the other two, depending on their day, I'm definitely gonna miss it when it's gone. That's for sure. Oh, Lois Ann Therapy Gardening. How are you? First time stopping by. Awesome. Thanks for coming by. Good to see you. Good night, Snowman. Yeah, I can't wait to get the this all kind of sanded down and cleaned up, and all the rough edges brought down and nice and smooth, and putting a nice finish on it. I think it'll look pretty cool when it's all done. It'll definitely be quite functional. It's gonna, I think, make things a little easier. What blades do I use on the sawmill for frozen logs? I use for most everything I cut. I use Ripper 37s, and I order them from a guy I actually found on a Facebook group that I'm in for portable sawmill group. Um, Jerry Doherty, Jerry's Resharp, and he sells these blades called Ripper 37s. They were recommended by a lot of people, and so I ordered. I think I got about 15 or 20 of them, and at least 2/3 or more are 7 degree, because most of what I have here is red oak. I have a lot of red oak, far more red oak than anything else. I think I got 20 or 30 red oak logs at least. I got a few maple, a few beech, a few pine, birch, but the 7 degree supposed to be a lot better for the hardwoods. It actually seems it is. And but I actually I think running the 7 degree blades, from what I hear, in the winter on frozen logs is better for cutting, just because I guess the logs are harder. But I actually used the 7 degree blade on a frozen pine log, and it cut really smooth. I was really actually the last pine log in one of my recent videos where I stacked the pine in my garage. I cut all that with a 7 degree blade. And I had cut a bunch of oak logs before it, so it probably was almost ready for a resharp, but since I was cutting a pine log, it should get through it just fine, and it worked out pretty good. I don't make a living off the sawmill. I hope to I hope someday to be able to do something where that could be part of it. I do sell lumber, and I sell live edge slabs and um, stuff that comes off the mill, but I don't have like a business out of it yet. But at some point, I would like to. I'd like to at some point be able to kind of sustain a full-time living off of just a bunch of the stuff around here that I like to do and that I enjoy doing. But I'm sure it'll be quite a while. Probably more of a early retirement, semi-retirement plan, just because of the stuff I like to do. I work with computers now and have done it for 15 or 20 years, and I'm at a point where there's just so many other things I'd rather do. And at first technology was exciting and fun, and now it's just kind of the same old, same old. But I've always worked outside since I was a kid. My father did construction for 30 years, so working with my hands is something I've always enjoyed doing. And I love working with wood. I've always liked building things. I've done a lot more of building things, construction-wise, than woodworking, like hands-on woodworking stuff. That I've done more in the last year or two. But yeah, I hope to, maybe do firewood, do the sawmill stuff, do some woodworking stuff, and that sort of thing. Woodmeyer's has a new special blade for their bigger sawmills, makes it cut as fast as a resaw blade with nearly the same. Oh wow, 25 horsepower more. Part of me is tempted to upgrade my saw to a 25 horsepower motor. Part of it, and actually that kind of came from since I've had some trouble getting it started, and I still have to do some work on the mill, changing the oil, the type of oil, and getting some better gas and stuff for it. But I was looking online because I was looking to see if I could get an electric start for it, and then when I was doing some searches, I found that the 25 horsepower Kohler Command Pro engines have the electric start built in already. So then it got me thinking, should I just buy a 25 horsepower engine? But I don't know. I'd have to think about that some more. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing, or I don't know how much it's actually going to affect or even help. But I figure, more power can't be a bad thing, I wouldn't think. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, so you got some from Jerry, too. Yeah. Yeah, he's been 4 degree. Oh, wow. I didn't know they had those. I've only kind of known about the 10 and 7 degree. I've only had the mill for 4 or 5 months now. And if I'm lucky, I'll get out there 3 or 4 times a month. between work and the kids and everything else. But I'm hoping this coming year to get out there a lot more because I have quite a few logs I need to mill, and I had just bought the property next door. So I'm hoping to get out there and start building some stuff over there and kind of reestablishing kind of some of the homestead stuff that we did before with raising animals and gardens and that sort of thing. So all sorts of work and ideas, and I always have a lot more ideas than I have time, but you know, you can't stop trying at least. Yeah, that's a good point, Chris, about the warranty. I've been tempted to call Woodland Mills and ask them if it's, a bad thing to upgrade the engine and if it would be a problem. Although I haven't, only because I have a feeling I'm kind of afraid they'll pretty much tell me I can't. So, yeah. I mean, the other option is I could ask them if there's any sort of option or suggestion or anything that would not put it out of warranty that I could use it to put an electric start on it. Because there are days after like raking the roof by myself through a storm that my shoulder is just killing me. The last thing I want to do out there, go out there and crank on a pull start. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that I got to kind of re-strengthen my shoulder and build the muscles up around my shoulder again. Because when I do a lot of hard work, it's intermittent, it's not consistent. So my body doesn't really get a chance to build up the muscles in the right places. So I just got to probably either do more of it or exercise or both. Super Dave, would I buy the same mill? I think I would. I would definitely buy one from Woodland Mills at least, at the very least. And I can't imagine I would want to go with one of the lower powered saws, just because I don't like having limitations. I mean, even with this mill, I have limitations, but Woodland Mills customer service is amazing. There's actually a group on Facebook called Woodland Mills Talk, and I don't know if they started it or what, but they're part of that group. They also watch a lot of YouTube videos of people who own Woodland mills, and if they ever see anybody struggling or having a hard time with them, they don't wait for them to call them. They'll actually reach out to them first. Ben's actually mentioned that. Ben Sawmill mentioned that in his video. They definitely don't mess around when it comes to customer service. They really do seem to care quite a bit about their customers being happy. They're a smaller company, but they're doing it right, and their word of mouth advertising from the people that are their customers. You don't typically hear anything negative, and if you do, it could be something about the mill that somebody didn't like initially. Like I know the earlier models had some shortcomings, some things that weren't great, but when people brought it up, they addressed it and improved. And then even the older mills, they would actually send the upgrades to the people who bought the mill in the past to upgrade their older mill to compensate for any of those shortcomings that they had in the past. So their customer service is awesome. I definitely couldn't say enough about their customer service. Even myself, when I had an issue with the blade popping off when I first bought it, but it was a tracking issue. But they like called me at my house. They sent me a box of new blades, some bearings. I didn't ask for them to do any of that. They sent me a box with hats for my whole family. So it's kind of funny, but they're on top of it. The Harbor Freight 22 horsepower is getting good reviews. Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm tempted to either look at the warranty details or call Woodland Mills to see if it's a bad idea to do that. Hey, Pawpaws. Welcome. How you doing? Thanks for coming by. Been thinking about adding the Cook roller guides. How is that? Is that any different than? How is that different than the guides that are on it? I'm not familiar with. I think I've heard of them, but I know the Cook, heard of the Cook mills, but their roller guides are better. The mill that I have is the Woodland Mills HM 130. It's 14 horsepower, and it can cut up to a 30-inch log. So, but it's maxes out at 22 inches for a board width. So it's been able to cut 99% of everything I've ever had so far. I have one log out in my yard right now that it probably won't cut because it's, I think, 34 inches in diameter. But that's why I hung on to my chainsaw mill, because when I run into the occasional log that I can't cut on the bandsaw mill, I can pull that out. Oh, Larry, you built your mill. Oh, that's cool. Is it, you just recently built it, I'm guessing then? You've probably told me or I've seen it before, I'm sure. I have a terrible memory for stuff. Same here, Larry. Yeah, I mean, I'm really green when it comes to the mill. I'm greener than the mill is green. um, I I might have cut maybe 20 or 30 logs since I've owned it, and I probably cut about 5 or 10 logs with my Alaskan mill, maybe 15 before I got the bandsaw mill. So I'm still early on with it, but about 20 years ago I worked in a lumber mill, so I learned a lot when I worked for them. But there's also, I probably forgot more than I learned. So it's all starting to kind of come back, and definitely the enjoyment of it's coming back. I liked working in the mill back then. Yeah, that's cool that you built your own mill. I wanted to do that. I was afraid to, just because sometimes when I start a big project, I tend not to finish it, and it sits aside for a long time, and it either the whole project gets scrapped, or it takes me forever to finally get back to it and finish it. And then by then I've probably lost half the pieces, and a lot of it just has to do with my spare time and not having any. Things come up, and then I end up getting sidetracked and pulled away. So in many cases I'll buy what I need before I will try to build my own. But I'm hoping to get to a point someday where I could just, build all my own things. Like the buck saw, I was actually just online tonight earlier when the kids were falling asleep, looking on Craigslist for a buzzsaw like Ben has. And it's incredible the money that people want for them around here. $4, $5, $6, $7, $800. One person has one up there for $1,000. So I have a hard time spending that kind of money on it, because when I look at them, it looks like something I could build myself. Obviously, it would take some time and a little bit of redneck engineering, but I could probably build it, and maybe it'd be something I wait until the spring and summer to try to do, to save some money, so I don't have to spend that kind of money on one. Chris, check them out. No friction block. Oh, rollers. Okay, adds down pressure. Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, I might actually check them out, because that's whenever I have any sort of adjustments and stuff I have to make on the mill, it's usually the guides that I have to mess with, and if there's any way where I can actually help keep things in line better, I'm definitely up for looking at it. May have to check out some reviews on that. You have to upload your guides to the cooks. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I vaguely remember, I'm sure people have mentioned it in the group that I'm in online. Sounds like Larry may even be in that same group. But yeah, I know I've seen other people mention it. Timbery Sawmill is weird. It has the Norwood style ceramic blade guides with a Wood-Mizer LT log bed frame. Huh. How's the Timbery Sawmill? Is it overall works pretty good? A friend of mine has got a Norwood and a Wood-Mizer. He's got a Norwood, I don't know if it was like a LM29 or something like that, and then he's got the Wood-Mizer LT40. But he does lumber milling full time. It's his full-time job. Does that and a little bit of tree work and logging and stuff. But most of his work is pretty much full-time sawmilling. So he bought an extra mill so he wouldn't be down. Oh, cool, he built a structure with poplar. I would love to get some poplar. I like I like poplar. The only time I've ever had it is when I bought it at the store, unfortunately. And anytime you go into like the Home Depot, you try to buy any sort of nice lumber besides like the construction grade stuff, and they want a lot of money for that. 8, 10, $12 a foot. But yeah, I'd love to have some poplar. There's definitely a lot of big selection of trees that we don't have around here that I see others cutting, and man, I would love to have more of a variety. Um, because especially now where I'm milling my own wood, I have a hard time spending money and going to the store and buying lumber. Um, but I have looked at potentially getting some other stuff. Purchasing online some of the hardwood suppliers so I can do some projects with it because I think it would be really cool. It'd be really neat if I could trade some of the oak and stuff that I have for others, but of course everyone else in my area is going to be in the same boat and only be stuck with what we have for a selection here. But I can't complain. Having a mill and not having to worry about buying wood is definitely a luxury to me. I love it. Trailer model, yeah. Um, I think I mentioned it in the last video or the last stream, but I have an old camper trailer. I think it's like 20 feet long, and I got the bed extension for the track extension for the sawmill, so it's gonna have a 16-foot cut length. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the sawmill onto the trailer because then I can move it around the property some more and I can bring it other places. Whenever I advertise I'm selling lumber or slabs or anything, I get a lot of people asking the question if I can come out to their site and cut their logs for them. So I think that would be kind of a cool thing to be able to do and have the option to do when people ask. Poplar works really easily. Yeah, it's a softwood, and I love the look of it. I have one piece of it here because I bought it for a shelf. Actually, I never built. It seems to be popular for floors too, from what I've heard some people. Yeah, there is Damon, a lot of white pine. It's funny, on my piece of property, there is a lot of white pine, but the dominant tree on this lot and these couple lots here is red oak. It's like grows like weeds out here. I almost kind of would trade, at times I would trade oak for pine because I do like having pine to build things, and in some cases, like actually this workbench I built out of pine, and it works pretty well. I have a bunch of red oak. I actually thought about building a new woodworking bench out of red oak to replace the pine one because I like having a heavy bench so when you're pushing on stuff it doesn't move around, so I figured why not upgrade to oak. I got plenty of it. Goal is to make a deal with my neighbor to cut up limbs for firewood. To build a house. Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Jeffrey. I'm hoping to mill all the wood. I'd love to build a small house someday, kind of as a retirement home, kind of a, I don't know so much if off-grid or not, but a small little cabin style, something easy to maintain. The smaller the house is, the cheaper it is to manage and maintain. So that's kind of what I'd like to do. And before that, I want to build a shed and then upgrade and build a barn. So I kind of want to slowly work my way up. I want to do a lot of it timber frame. So I've got several books I've been reading on it. I'm actually going to work on, one of the things that I'm going to start working on is in SketchUp. I'm going to start, and I'll probably just record it while I'm designing it on my computer. But I want to design a scaled model of the barn that I want to build, and then build it in the shop out of the lumber I have here, and see how it goes. I figured it would be a fun way to practice and have a cool little model of the barn that I want to build. And at least if I never build a real one, I have the little one. They had some trees come down in the storm last summer. Is that what that? It's cut off. Let's see. Had a few dozen trees come into the storm. Oh, okay. Did they give you the trees? That would be cool. Oh, for, clarify, cut the limbs up for my neighbor to use as firewood. Yep. Yeah, I thought about because I get a lot of wood for free. I have a log trailer. Um, I still have to finish some work on it. I've been working on kind of modifying it. I want to. It's going to be a lot like the trailer that if you watch Matt Cremona, he's got the winch on one end and he's got the log arch on the other end. Right now, it's an old horse trailer. It cut down and the deck is solid. It's meant to hold 5 or 6 thousand pounds for holding a couple horses. But I mounted a winch mount to the front of the frame and cut an opening out for the cable to come through, and I pull logs up a ramp onto the trailer now. And I'd like to upgrade and do the same thing that he did with the log arch, because the trouble is trying to get it up off the ground and onto the trailer. Lifting it up, the initial part is a challenge. But what I was saying was, I get all my logs for free. People giving them away on Craigslist, and I just go pick them up and drag them onto the trailer. So I end up with a lot of wood that could be firewood too, because a lot of people have it already bucked up and cut, and I'll just take it for firewood. So I thought about arranging a deal where people could come over and get, have them help me split and cut and stack a couple cords of wood, and then they can take a cord of wood and trade. So it's kind of, a way to get free labor. With the milk again. Yeah, I'm hoping. It seems like Pratt's that you could get covered up with work in a hurry. I mean, I last time I posted an ad, I think was like 2 months ago, and I still have people contacting me and buying wood from the ads that I put out a long time ago. They're finding them in a search. So, and I've hardly even tried to push it. So I can't imagine if I did, it would probably be pretty busy. Small house, big workshop. That's definitely right. That's Damon. That's what I want. Because the workshop too, you have an option to heat or not heat. You can heat it when you're out there. You don't need to heat it when you're not. You can preheat it when you know you're going to go out there, and it's a big place to keep everything dry, stored, safe, and a place to go out and work when you want to. So I think, and it's a place for you to get stuff done, the projects and things that you want to build, a place for you to do it inside, store your tractor and things like that. So I think that would be definitely awesome to have. Mainly got pine. Also wish I had more red oak and hickory. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, around right here where I'm at, it's mostly red oak and pine, and there's actually quite a bit of maple, and there's some beech and a little bit of ash, birch. That's most of it anyway. There's definitely, I mean, hemlock, but most of what I have around here is um, oak and pine. Huh. I should. I went on Craigslist, Larry, about the local tree services. I went on Craigslist and I was looking for some local tree services, and I actually I only contacted like two or three. I probably should reach out to some more, but I actually told them that if they have a site where they down trees and there's any trees or wood that they don't want, I'll actually come out there and pick up any logs that they have. I'll come out there with my trailer and haul them away for them. Um, but I hadn't thought about like offering them like money as like a delivery fee. Although right now I have more logs than I can cut, but that's definitely something I'm gonna keep in mind. Yeah, I have a lot, Andy. I have a lot of woodworkers that come pick stuff up. I had um, this one young guy who's got he works for a tree service, and he does woodworking on the side, and he come by and pick up some slabs and stuff, and the projects that he showed me he's done is pretty amazing. I'd like to do a lot more of that stuff. Yeah, Cremona's trailer. He stripped that thing right down and welded it and refabricated it and made it what he wanted it to be. Which is definitely the way to do it. If you're gonna do it, go big or go home. Strip it down and do it right from the frame up and make it what you want it to be. Reinforced it with steel and did a lot of really nice weld work on it. But the trailer that I have is pretty solid as it is. The tires at some point will probably need to be replaced. Trailer tires, trailers aren't used as often, so they sometimes dry rot before they wear down. But I decided I would use the trailer as it is rather than stripping it all down and rebuilding it like that, at least until it needs to be done, at which point maybe I'll do the same thing and strip it all down. And yeah, his mill is, watching his videos was kind of one of the reasons why I thought about it. I wanted to build my own mill, but I watched a lot of like his build videos for his mill, and it was definitely a lot of work, but the fact that he's able to do what he does full time enables him to be able to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. Oh, everyone wants Super Dave. Everyone wants money for their logs. Yeah, there are a lot of people around here who think their trees are worth their weight in gold. And then there's people who are just like, hey, I took this tree down, or somebody cut this tree down, the electric company cut this tree down in my yard, and they just want it out of here. That's actually how I got the hickory slabs that I have drying in the basement. Unfortunately, the electric company came by, cut the tree down in the guy's yard, and the guy asked them to buck it up for him so somebody could come by and take it for firewood. But luckily they left it at lengths at like 4 feet, 3-4 feet, so I did make some shorter slabs, but they're about 32 inches wide, and they look pretty awesome. Hickory's not something, at least around this immediate area, that I see very often. If you order cordwood, like firewood, you'll get chunks of hickory in it, but I don't see a lot of hickory trees growing, at least right around here. Yeah, Chris, it's the same with me. I have some people around here with mills. Actually, a friend of mine he's got his two mills that he runs, and it seems like occasionally he gets burnt out, but I guess everybody does with their job. Part of me doesn't want to do it, I guess, full time because I'm afraid to do anything else full time because, like the computer thing, I started out enjoying it. And I mean, it took 15, 20 years to get to the point where it's like, I could give or take it at this point. So you could see with him after doing it, I think he's done it for 10 or 15 years. And you can see a lot of times he gets burnt out with it and frustrated with it. But, I guess it's like anything you do for a living. You're not always going to be 100% happy. Yeah, people around here want a lot of money sometimes for their trees and logs, and they have these unreasonable expectations um, that that you can come out and they can have somebody come out and cut their tree down for them and trade for the tree. And in some cases, that's not a big deal. I mean, if it's a tree out in the middle of an open area and it's not going to hit anything, you could, notch it and pull it down or whatever, and then drag it out of there. No big deal. But I had one guy call me and says, "Hey, I get a cherry tree for you that you can have." And I'm like, "Oh, awesome! I'll come check it out." So I pull up and there's this huge cherry tree, beautiful tree, and the guy wanted it cut down, but it was power lines going this way and then power lines from the street to his house along the other side of the tree, a driveway right next to the tree, and a yard where his house was on the other side of the tree. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to cut that down for the tree, or I'm not going to cut it down, period, because it's not something I can do professionally. I told him, I was like, if it was in the middle of your yard and there was nothing in the way of it, I would do it, but that's just no. And he says, all right, I'm sure I'll find somebody. I said, you're not likely going to find anyone to do it, you know, for under $1,000, $2,000, and nobody's going to take a couple of cherry logs and trade for that. So, but he had his mind pretty set on that he was gonna be able to get that. Jeffrey, I think I may have seen that walnut log video. It was like something about the process of cutting it from a log to boards um, to finished lumber and the value of it, and the person thinking the log was worth like $1 million. I think I actually seen it in one of those groups. Oh, with your job you have to be careful about free, huh? Yeah, I was at a point where unfortunately I took anything that people offered for free. I would take it and say, I'm sure I could use that, I'm sure I could use that, and next thing my wife's like, you need to clean out the yard, and you get too much free crap. Just because it's free doesn't mean you have to take it. Oh, hey, Double Bit. How you doing? Videos by Al. Did a cottonwood log that was so big and heavy that his wood miser could not lift it. Wow. I'll have to check that out. Videos by Al. Huh. That sounds like he's got some interesting videos. Oh yeah, Damon. I bet. You probably get, I'm sure you have at some point gotten people doing the same thing, saying, hey, come out and cut these trees and you can have them, and, you know, I'll trade. But yeah, I imagine you must have some crazy situations you've gotten into with that type of work. Definitely seems interesting watching Buckin's channel and the stuff that he does. It looks like a lot of fun, but of course, yeah, there's a lot of risk and a lot of work with it. But what size my mill right now can mill up to 30 inches in diameter and up to 10 feet long. I bought an extension for the track to be able to mill up to 16 feet long that I haven't put on yet. I ordered it and I received it like right before it started snowing, so I haven't bothered putting it on there. And most of the logs that I have here are cut down to right around 10 feet because that's all I could cut at the time that I got them. So that's the length that I cut them at when I went and picked them up. But the 16-foot length, the reason I did that is because I want to build a timber frame barn, and I want to be able to mill timbers bigger than 10 feet. I'm thinking I can get away with being able to mill 16-foot timbers for what I want to build. So that was kind of the reason for that. And then plus I have the 20-foot trailer. So putting that track on there, it should be like a perfect fit, I hope. But I know there's people out there who can mill like 30-foot logs, which is crazy. I couldn't even imagine trying to move a 30-foot log around. And at the time I got my mill, I didn't have a machine to move logs around. So when I was researching buying a mill, you know, a lot of people had said, you know, before you get your mill, thinking about how you're going to get the log to it. And they had a good point. Anything beyond that 10 feet, it would have been a lot harder. Hewing logs is next best. Yeah, hewing logs looks like a lot of fun. There's that channel, Mr. Chickadee, I think it is, and he does. That's like how he cuts all of his logs. From what I've seen, is he hews them into beams, and that's definitely a lot of fun. If I had the kind of time to do that, that would be fun to be able to build something like that. I like doing a lot as much as I can with my hands, but the power tools and the sawmills and stuff like that, it's just, you know, you only got so much time to do stuff. And for me, unfortunately, I have a lot of stuff that I want to do. So usually when I get to power tools is because either it's too much for me to do by hand, or I need to do it quicker than I could do it by hand. But I think that's, the same for a lot of people. And then some people just prefer to do everything with power tools, but your brother almost got killed helping a friend. Tree hit him square. Oh, the tractor kept it from going. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the sort of thing too there's so many, at least in this area, there's so much out there that you can get that you don't have to cut down, that it really doesn't make sense to go out and try, unless it's like the perfect situation. I've actually never cut down a tree and trade for the wood, or cut down a tree for anyone else ever. I've only ever cut trees down for myself, and I've caused enough trouble just doing that. Had a tree nick my shoulder when I went. Oh, wow. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to get really good, and even guys who get really, really good, even after 10, 20 years, get a surprise sometimes that can put them down. Yeah, my tractor, yeah, it's a JCB 80 horsepower diesel backhoe with the loader. And the loader can lift up to, I think, 7,000 pounds. Um, so that was kind of the reason why I got it, and I got it used locally, really cheap, and like a really good deal. And it was only a few miles away, so I didn't have to have it transported. I put a plate on it and I drove it here. So it was just the perfect situation, and being able to lift that kind of weight. I don't really have any limits when it comes to the logs that I can put on my mill, because my mill can only mill up to so big, and so I don't think my machine's ever gonna have to pick up or move a log around that it can't. So that's a nice thing, and I can move as much snow as I need to move around without any limitations. So yeah, it's definitely that thing is a lifesaver. I love that machine. It's just been so helpful. It's an older, I think it's 30, almost 40 years old. It was like in 1990, 1980. But it's yeah, it's a great, huge help. It's one of those things that once you get and you start using it for a while, you can't imagine having to live without it. Especially in this area on this property, it's just huge. Pure living for life. 26-foot logs for the timber frame. Logs delivered next to the mill. Yeah, yeah. I seen him doing that with the backhoe. I've never tried loading logs with the backhoe. Um, I like. I don't know. I just have this feeling of I like being able to drive up to the log, pick it up with what's in front of me, and then take off. The idea of having to stop and turn around and pick it up and then turn back around, and then you're hauling a log with your backhoe. I don't know. Yeah, I've never tried it, so I guess I can't really say. But actually, they were the reason Pure Living for Life. I saw the claw video that they did on that log, what they call the log grapple, but the log lifting tongs, and it looked like a pretty cool idea. So I actually got two of them, and I put one on each end of my bucket, and I just lift the whole log up, and I did that so it doesn't tip one way or the other. Having two of them keeps the log level. I'm still kind of trying to figure out the best way to use them. I also have some clamp-on forks that I got for the loader bucket. I think the forks are probably going to be a lot easier for moving wood to the mill from a stack, and the tongs I think are going to be better for grabbing trees out of the woods and stuff, because you can just throw a tong on a log and drag it or lift it up, and it doesn't have to be perfectly flat for you to try to pick it up with the forks. But it's a learning process and still getting used to doing all that. A lot of work to hew logs. Yeah, I would think it would be good exercise. I mean, it's just like, splitting logs for firewood. I have a gas powered log splitter, but I do sometimes will go out and just split wood for the exercise because I like being outside and I like exercising outside by doing something at least I feel productive doing. So I would think hewing logs would be fun, but like you said, it's a lot of work. Trying to hew logs for like an entire structure, I would imagine you'd have to have a lot of time, and you'd have to, build up strength and stamina to complete it. Just not old enough to buy power tools, or do we own any? Oh, you don't own any power tools? Yeah, I've always had power tools mostly. Up until this year, I never really got into using hand tools for stuff. I mean, other than necessity, a handsaw to cut something if I can't get to it with a powered saw. But then I just got really big into using, planes and chisels and draw knives and spoke shaves, and um, I I enjoy it now, and it's actually nice because being at home, like, it's almost 11 p.m. here. So if I wanted to work on something here right now, where all the kids are sleeping, the power saws, the noise in here would just be too much. So I can actually, like this project here, I actually built mostly with hand tools, and I did a little bit with power tools when I could. But the nice thing is it keeps the dust down and it's quiet when you're using the hand tools, and it is kind of relaxing. I just put my headphones in and go to work. Yeah, yeah, Jeffrey. I imagine you can imagine hewing that many logs. You know, I imagine they were spending full days hewing logs and cutting the joinery out to get. But they definitely had a good reason to get that done in a hurry, and they had something to motivate them to keep going, or they're going to freeze to death. Yeah, I bet it would take. I can imagine one log, if you got like a 12 or 16-foot log or whatever, hewing a log like that could take a whole day to get it just right. I imagine after a while you might be able to do a couple in a day. So I imagine it would take, a month just to hew the logs you need for, a cabin or barn or whatever. A cabin axe hewn for a family? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Just the amount of work. My shoulders would be killing me. Old is gold. I like that. That's, yeah, I've never realized that especially until I started using like hand tools and stuff. The metal in these old tools compared to the newer stuff is way better. And the older stuff just seems to be built to last. It didn't have all the bells and whistles and features and the conveniences, but when you used it, you could use it pretty rough, and most of the time, um, oh yeah, right, Buckin says that. That's right. I knew I heard that somewhere. That old stuff you can just, beat it, and if it breaks, there were at least a lot of the older stuff when it came to tools and motorized things, they were just easier to fix. But nowadays there's so much technology, you have to, hire somebody special to repair a lot of things or dispose of it and buy a new one. Hey, good night, Jeffrey. Have a good night. Thanks for coming by. Oh, Pratt's Greenhouse, good night. Yeah, I appreciate you coming by. Take care. Have fun in the greenhouse. Hey, good night, Double Bit. Hey, good night, everyone. Looks like everyone's heading off. Oh, Andy's still here, and Damon. Cool. Thank you guys for stopping by. Super Dave, have a good night. And Larry. You have a Mike. Hey, how you doing? have a lot of power tools from the years of construction now. Want a mill and believe I am constructing my own due to cost. Huh. That would be cool. I'd like to see that. There's so many people on YouTube who do it, and so many people who do it in so many different ways. It's really interesting to see the different ways people do it. So one of the things, just gonna stop for a second here before everyone takes off. I'm gonna quickly just go through. I'm looking through all the people who have just subscribed over the past week or so, and just kind of shout out some, and maybe even some of you might be here, which would be cool. Mike Anderson and Mike Lamoth. Yep, you guys are here. So let's see. We'll look back to January 1st. January 1st, Kirk Haas Urban Milling. I think I checked out his channel actually. Take a look at it. Oh yeah, no, I subscribed to it. He's only got 23 subscribers. Looks like he does some. He's got some sawmilling videos. Looks like mostly sawmilling videos. And a few other random things. But most recent sawmilling stuff. That looks pretty cool. Looks like he's got a Woodland Mills mill. It's Kirk Haas Urban Milling. Let's see. We got Joey Hahn. Steve Harris. Steve Harris has a cool channel. He does he plays the guitar and sings like cover songs. He's pretty good. He's got a pretty good voice for it. Wayne Thompson, and we got Mike Powers, Leroy McDuffie, Becker 105, Addy Unix Moment. Wonder if that's a computer thing. Unix. Doug Smith, the Happy Canadian. I've actually been watching his channel. He's just like a daily vlogger guy. Just vlogs, and he had a drone, lost it. Just kind of one of those story type channels. Paul Kalk, Dan Citera, Jake Bertram, Mike Anderson, and Mike Lamoth, who are here tonight. Sonny McGee, Chalet or Piste. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Interesting name, Kit Kat Herbert. Book of Saya, Matt B. And Andy's Backyard and Shop. And Stephen Rude. Hopefully Stephen's not rude. So I'll jump back to the chat here. Bandsaw is the way to go. Yeah. I don't know, Mike, if you're on, Mike Lamoth, if you're on Ben Sawmill. Oh, there you go. There's my answer. Met through Ben. Yeah. He did that that sawmill collaboration where he had a few people running their mills, and it was actually Wayne, who was one of the guys who actually subscribed to me this week. He has a pretty cool setup. I thought that was neat. It was like a cross between an Alaskan mill and a bandsaw mill. Oh, Andy. Yeah, Andy's channel is cool if you guys haven't checked it out. He does different things. He does his backyard and shop, and he had a pretty cool chat online today. So yeah, Andy, I like watching your videos. I'm glad I found your channel. Yeah, so Ben did that video where he did this collaboration with a few different guys who had different mills, and that guy Wayne had a definitely an interesting mill. It was, like I said, it was a cross between bandsaw mill and Alaskan mill. It looked really interesting. Something you could just pick up and put away in the garage and bring back out. That was pretty neat. You got some of your grandfather's tools and been adding to the collection. Oh, cool. I like that stuff, like old tools. I got some tools, old tools from my father. I still have to go down to his house and finish cleaning it out. I haven't even barely started, but he was a collector of old stuff, just anything. Anytime somebody, his friends or anybody had something old that they were going to get rid of or whatever, they would bring it to him. He had old wood stoves, old tools, old pictures. He had an old organ, old paintings, lanterns, just old jewelry. You just like things that were old. But it's pretty cool. It's interesting. I guess there's a story behind everything. So let's see. And make sure. There's another channel too that's actually, when it comes to woodworking, the Newbie Woodworker. I started watching his videos. He had like 80 subscribers, and this was just like a couple weeks ago. I think he's up to over 3,000 subscribers now. His channel's kind of neat because he does a lot of tips and tricks type videos. He's like really new to woodworking, so as he's learning different tricks and trying new ways to do things, he shares it, and he's pretty creative. I think he's an engineer or a computer guy or something, so he seems to have a very technical mind when it comes to doing things, and he's very organized, like I used to be. So it's definitely fun to watch. He did a video on dust collection, which was really cool. Just a small little simple dust collection system that he built. So yeah, if you like woodworking, his channel is pretty cool to check out, especially if you're a beginner. To build the shop, yeah. Like I said, I think I got a few projects here that I got to do. I still have to build some shelves and storage for in the house, as much as my wife hates shelves, but I'm going to put some on my side of the room, in my room, because I have just a lot of crap everywhere in there. I got my drones and my rechargeable headlamp, and I got my computers and my guitar. It's just I need to hang everything up on the wall and get it up out of the way. Would like to still keep it all in there, but I just like to get it up off the floor and hang it up. So I gotta build some stuff in there to organize that a bit better. What channel? That was the Newbie Woodworker. So especially if you're in the early stages of woodworking, his channel is pretty cool. Most of the stuff he puts on his channel is kind of like tool and jig and tip and trick related stuff. He hasn't put any that I've seen project videos out of him building something, but I think because he's so early in the stages of kind of figuring things out, that most of the stuff he's excited about right now is how to do things better. And he's very organized when it comes to the way he thinks and does things. It's pretty cool. He's fun to watch. I remember when I first jumped onto his channel, he had less than 100 subscribers, and I was telling him, even then I was telling him I was surprised they didn't have more. And within I think about 5 or 10 videos, his channel just kind of blew up pretty quick. And I can see why. Yeah, definitely check him out. Yeah, so I want to build that shop over on the other property that I have, because it'll keep this property here where the house is, for like our family, our yard, that sort of thing. It'll keep all of my stuff and clutter over there, and I can just do my own thing over there. I'll build my barn, and we'll have it for storage, and when we start raising animals again, we can keep them over there, so we don't have to have them over in the yard where the kids are going to play, and we have company over and that sort of thing. So I think that'll be nice to have. But like I said, I want to start with probably going to work on in SketchUp, kind of sketching out a timber frame model, and then building that, and then I might eventually build like maybe like a timber frame shed, or even like a timber frame kind of clubhouse or something for the kids, something like that, and kind of work my way up to it. Chris, that's my plan. I'm hoping to do a timber frame shop. That's what I'm hoping. Um, yeah, I got my mind set on it. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and I think I'm going to have to get to the right point in life where I know I have enough time to start and finish it. And so this way I don't get discouraged without having the time to actually go over and do it. So I look forward to that. Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching the Tradesman Channel 2017 and him building his barn, and it's a lot of fun because it's fun to watch him because it's something I really want to do. So it's pretty cool to see the process. And I picked up some timber frame books that I've been reading each night, and watching a lot of timber frame videos. Yeah, right, keep your clutter over there. Mine would sneak into my house a little bit. Yeah, I've pretty much taken over this room, part of the basement, the entire garage, and then I have that temporary portable garage out there, which is packed full of stuff, and then half the yard between my trailers, my mill, and all the wood. Yeah, so I think that would be good. Yeah, I think the barn thing would be cool. Kind of a similar build that the tradesman's got going, where he's gonna have 2 stories, upstairs for a shop, downstairs for. Um, he was talking about doing the forging and metalworking stuff, and a place to I think he's got other buildings on his property anyway, but I think it'd be cool to have a place to park the machine, the tractor. Although I may not build something big enough to put this machine in, but a place to store, put my mill, build a maybe like a lean-to style roof off the side of it, so I could kind of park my mill underneath it and use it stationary there. And then when I want to drive it away, I pull it out of the carport lean-to style thing cover there, and pull it away. So first thing, I got to get over there and pick a spot where I want to put it, clear it, level it, put a slab down. I mean, just that stuff I'll probably focus on doing 1 year. And as I'm slowly kind of building a plan, and I'm probably sure I'm gonna, start putting the plan together. And I'm sure it'll change as I go because I'm gonna learn things that I didn't know initially. Um, Definitely want to do it right. I have the local building inspector here is actually a friend of mine, so I'm kind of lucky in that way. I asked him what I need to do in order to build it, and he basically just said, I have a form to give you. When you're ready, let me know. He says, just show me your plans, and he says, I'll, basically give you any points or tips and tricks that I can, and then you'll just have to pull a permit, and it should be pretty simple. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Haven't done any planning on yours yet, but you need to have a big enough auto, wood, metal, and yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, the auto stuff. Like if I want to work on a car, or a truck or whatever, I can pull it into a place that I can heat and work on it. Would be awesome. The garage, we have a 2-bay garage here, but the garage is meant for like passenger cars, like smaller cars, and we have SUVs, which is kind of silly because where this house is located, you can't really own a little 2-wheel drive car because you can't get up to the house. So yeah, right now the garage is just clutter, storage. It's kind of a mess. But yeah, what other channels do you guys watch? I know we've mentioned a few. I'm always interested in hearing about, what other channels are out there. I feel like you're never gonna find every channel that you would find interesting, and you'll never have enough time to watch them all. Andy, I bet it does. Yeah, I'd like to get a big truck with a lot of hauling capacity and a lot of power for towing and that sort of thing. Um, but right now I just had to buy a new car. Unfortunately, I haven't done it in years, and I didn't really want to do, but I needed something that was reliable and safe and all that. So I had to bite the bullet and be smart and do the right thing. But um, for the longest time, I've been buying used cars and fixing them up, and I always end up just getting in a bind every time I do that. And it doesn't just affect me, but the family and everything else. So I just said, you know what? Well, the kids are little, and I need to get back and forth to work. This is what we're gonna do. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with I had some Jeeps that I had torn apart and Frankenstein and did silly things. But um, what kind of truck do you have? I'm just curious. Metal Shaper build on Jeeps. Metal Shaper build on Jeeps. I haven't heard of that. Is that like a channel out there on YouTube? It's a Ford F-150 4x4. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've had two F-150s that were older. I liked them. I definitely liked the F-150s. Yeah, they definitely suck on gas. Yeah, that's the other downside is if I ever want to go very far or put my whole family in the vehicle, it's not really possible unless you got like a nice big king cab, extended cab truck. Because we got three kids, so you kind of have to find a pretty roomy vehicle to get them all in without them all screaming and complaining that one's touching the other. And but Metal Shaper channel works on old release. Huh. Metal Shaper. I'm gonna make note of that too. That's cool. That sounds like fun. I like stuff like that. Unfortunately, sometimes when I watch stuff that I'm not already doing, I start getting ideas and start trying to take on a new hobby and get sidetracked. But I've been getting better at not doing that. Dodge 2500 come. Oh wow, sweet. That must be a beast. Oh, yeah, that's how mine would be if I was in that situation. Andy, that would be my back seat would just be probably full of tools. I had a Ford Expedition up until recently that I bought for like $800, and it was a 2003, and I fixed it up, and the thing ran like a beast, and it would tow like 10,000 pounds, and I used it for all the stuff I did, and the whole back. I would keep the rear third row of seats down, and I had storage containers back there full of all my tools, chainsaws, chains, sharpening gear for picking up like logs and things like that was the main purpose. That and it was actually my daily vehicle too, but ended up having a rotted frame and I had to get rid of it. Building a gas tank out of copper. Huh. What's the gas tank for? For the Jeep. Wow. 2001 7.3 250. Oh, cool. I used to have I did have an old GMC. I think it was a 1997 one-ton diesel. It was only two-wheel drive, but that's what I used to tow my tractor around back then. Hey, Big Daddy Pat, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the subscribing. I hope you enjoy the stuff on the channel. Just kind of sharing all the stuff I like to do. Oh, actually, this is another little side project I've been fooling around with. Just about dry. I don't know if I ever showed this before, but I don't know if you can see it. I'll pull up my camera here. But it's just a walking stick that it was an old a branch from a beech tree that I dragged into the house before it started snowing because I wanted something to kind of carve on, and I just used my draw knife and my vise and drew on it and peeled it and shaped it and sanded it and put some linseed oil and polyurethane a little bit mix on there, and that's pretty cool. I kind of like it. Thought it'd be a fun thing to make just as I have spare time. I could just leave it in the vise and shave pieces off of it until it looked the way I wanted to. And so it's time for me to go dig out another branch so I can have it's kind of like big boy whittling, I guess. Although it's not really like a sculpture of any kind, but it was fun to do. I'd like to do more of them too. I could see myself sitting on the porch in a rocking chair whittling walking sticks with a draw knife. So Big Daddy, what are you up to? Where are you from? Need to get my F-150 going. Yeah, anytime I have a vehicle that's not running, I kind of get told I have to get rid of it these days, and I'm also not allowed to have too many vehicles. Because I got a little carried away at one point, and I think I had like 7 trucks or something ridiculous, because I just kept, if a truck was like $200 or $300 and it looks like I could get it working and running good, I would buy it and then start working on it, and then I would find another one I like, and so eventually I had to stop doing that. But I have the new Kia that I bought. It's a Kia Sportage all-wheel drive, which is just like a commuter car to get around, 30 miles a gallon, passenger vehicle that, one of those things I'm afraid to get in the car with dirty shoes on. And then I got my father's pickup that I inherited. It's a Nissan Frontier, four-wheel drive pickup truck, and I like that a lot. Needs some work. It's only got 60,000 miles on it, but it's just had some rough times or bad luck, so I gotta fix that up when the better weather comes. And then my wife has a Honda Pilot. I think that's all we have right now. 3 vehicles, yeah, which is kind of surprising. Dealing with sick grandkids. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I'm actually dealing with one sick kid now, hoping the rest don't get sick. I feel like I'm coming up with something. I think a lot of it too has to do with the freezing cold, dry weather. It starts drying out your system, and your body needs, your sinuses need moisture to fight off viruses and germs and stuff. And this time of year, they say when you get cold, you can catch a cold. It's not so much because you're cold, but it's because it changes your body's immune system. And so, with the kids being in school and bringing home all that stuff, it affects us too. Iowa. How's the weather out there? It's about 10 degrees here now. For the past couple days, it's been far below 0, and we've had about 15 inches or so of snow in the last couple days. Carry a stick like that if we have to go around. That's funny. I carry another kind of stick if I have to be in a situation like that. But it makes loud noises. The 7.3. I have never had a truck with the 7.3 in it, but I hear it's that's not the Power Stroke, right? I don't know a whole lot about the very specific models and stuff. I'm just kind of a tinkerer. International engine. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, all right, cool. Oh, International. Yeah, yep. Yeah, they make truck for the big boys. make engines for the big trucks. So I can imagine they would make it like the Cummins. They're the companies and making engines to do a lot bigger jobs. So I imagine they can make a pretty good engine for a truck. Makes sense why they would go to other companies to get high quality engines for their vehicles, especially when it comes to having to do some heavy work. -15, negative. Oh wow. Freezing rain, that stinks. I hate freezing rain. I'm sure Damon probably got affected by it. I'm not sure if up that way you got it as much, but we had a freezing ice storm. Was it 2007, 2008? I don't remember when it was, but we had no power for like a week. We were living off of a generator for a week. We were heating our house with kerosene and electric heaters. That was brutal. And it's funny because I'm out here. I'm in New Hampshire, Big Daddy. And Damon as well. Yeah, that definitely, Big Daddy, that did suck. I was just freaking out. Like, at the time, we had a bigger house. We had like a 2,500 square foot house. And the first floor we didn't even really use. It kind of was one of those things where I learned, don't buy a house bigger than you need it. But I thought it would be cool to have a bigger house, and it wasn't, because then situations like that come up and you're going to try to figure out how to heat the whole thing. Oh, Fat HD, Maine. All right, cool. You're right in the neighborhood. Power without 24 hours. Yeah, the freezing rain is just the worst. It takes trees and power lines down, and people slide on the road. Northern Ontario. Oh, it's got to be really cold up there. Do you have any, I'm curious what the temperatures are up there now. Probably going to laugh at me, but all cold. I'm down here in Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, the guys I work with, like I said, I work remotely from home, and I have to do meetings online through like Skype and stuff every day with my team, and they're all mostly in Alabama, and they're always talking. I'm always talking about the weather we're having up here, and they'll get like an inch of snow or something, and it closes like the highways down, and everyone's stuck where they are. But it's, I guess, if you're not prepared for it and aren't used to it and don't know how to handle it, it can catch you off guard. But that happens in New England too. It just seems like every winter, the fall, early winter comes and you get your first snow and the roads are slippery, and people like suddenly forget that they're in New England and forget how to drive in it. Oh, hey, John. Glad you made it. It was 30 in Florida. Yeah, it's crazy. This year, the weather has been insane. I remember even last year, like I was down actually in Alabama. I was in Birmingham, and I remember the weather. It was like in the 40s, and I think it was March. And I remember they were saying it was really affecting the agriculture. People are having a tough time with their crops and things. All it takes is the word snow. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what I heard. They actually sent me pictures of like the highways. Just cars just had to like stop where they were, and everybody just kind of like stopped. People were stuck on the highway in their cars, and the company I work for, people were stuck at the office at work because they couldn't drive home. That's just nuts. That's crazy. So, John, what are you up to tonight? Cold does mess with us, and I ain't far away from. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'll probably going down to Birmingham again at some point this year. I'm hoping. So yeah, with the company I work for, their headquarters is out of Birmingham, and then we have offices like all around the world. And what I do is remotely connect into all the different systems at all the different companies that our company owns and fix broken things. Florida declared a state of emergency. They ran out of hot cocoa. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, just sitting on your butt watching me. Well, I'm sitting on mine watching the chat. Oh, Chris, thanks for coming by. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing here in a minute. So I can hear one of the kids got up. And yeah, I get up. I'll be getting up about 5:30 myself. Brad, yeah. Well, it's funny. Even up here, it's I mean everywhere, I guess. But people hear of a storm coming or anything, and you go down to the stores, and it's like all the water's gone. And it's weird because even around here, where everyone has like a well with, decent water and that sort of thing, so why or is everyone buying water? But I guess they need electricity to run their well pumps. But we have a generator, just a hand crank one. But oh, good night, Chris. Thanks for coming by. Hope you get a good night rest. Let's see. Wow. So yeah, I haven't broke my record. I can't believe that last was it New Year's Eve live stream was 3.5 hours. I can't believe it. It's funny on these, like Ben was just saying when he did his, it just like seems like it flies by. You're sitting here and just chatting, and time kind of strolls along. We lay in alcohol if a storm is coming. Piss on water. Have lots of. Well, I think I better probably wrap it up. Been on for over an hour and a half, which is a lot of fun. I'd like to stay on and chat more, but I should probably cut it off now. It's almost 11:30 here, and I'll be getting up in about 6 hours. Um, I have to get up and get the kids. Well, my wife does most of it, but I'll get up and help her get the kids ready and that sort of thing. Um, So yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. It's fun as always. Gonna try to do it like I said every Sunday if I can, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by, and if you don't mind, if you haven't liked the video on your way out, if you don't mind hitting that, but I'd definitely appreciate it. Um, so yeah, I will see you on the next video, and Fat HD, thanks for being a new sub. I love it. Thanks for everybody for joining. Have a good night. Take care. Hope you get some sleep. Stay warm.